One of the greatest things about our country is the Bill of Rights. You know, when we passed the Constitution, many people were fearful that if specific rights were not enumerated, they might be taken away. I think other people said, well, we don't need a Bill of Rights. Who could imagine a time when we would take away the right to trial? Who can imagine a time when you wouldn't get a lawyer or that you could be held indefinitely without a trial? So some people opposed the Bill of Rights and said, we don't need this because it's so obvious that no one in their right mind would ever argue that an American citizen or someone apprehended or accused of a crime in the United States would be held without limit, would be sent to a camp in another country and held forever without a trial. None of our founding fathers ever imagined that could happen. And yet here we are. Here we are at a time where just 4 or 5 years ago, this body passed a bill that says that an American citizen can be detained forever. That an American citizen accused of a crime in the United States could be sent to a foreign camp and held forever without trial. When you mention to this people are incredulous. They're like, who is the person that would object to the Bill of Rights? Who is it that possibly objects to the Fifth and the Sixth Amendment? Well, you're going to hear from that person shortly, because it's one person in the U.S. Senate that objects to the Fifth and the Sixth Amendment applying to those who are accused of a crime in our country. Captured in our country and accused of a crime in our country, this person would deny you a lawyer. This person believes that the entire world is a battlefield, including the U.S., so we need to have martial law. Martial law in the United States. This person discounts the whole presumption that you are presumed to be innocent until found guilty. Why is this a problem? Well, after 9/11, we captured 119 people and we tortured them. Our government tortured them, but in retrospect, we found out that 26 out of the 119 were the wrong person. Does anybody remember a time in our history when black people were lynched because they were presumed to be guilty? This is what this is about. This is about people accused of a crime, not declared guilty, not found guilty, but you're willing to lock them up without a trial? I cannot think of anything more un-American. You will hear from today the representative of the un-American position that the Fifth and the Sixth Amendment don't apply to everybody. Now, some will say, oh, the Fifth Amendment just applies to citizens, and maybe we could talk about citizens but not non-citizens. The Fifth Amendment says no person shall be held or deprived of their liberty or due process. That means the whole idea of going to court. Nobody captured in this country can be deprived of that. The Sixth Amendment says in all prosecutions, the accused, not just American citizens, the accused. Now, people will say, but we're talking about terrorists here and they're terrible people. Absolutely, they're terrible people. Everybody would want to punish the guilty terrorist. But do you want to punish people only accused of terrorism? You say, well, it's a terrible crime. We might as well just throw out the Constitution, throw out the Bill of Rights, and why don't we just lock these people up or better yet, kill them? That is the mentality of lynching. That is the mentality of locking up all the Japanese during World War II. Is that who we are as a people? They will have won after 9/11 if we give up on the Bill of Rights. If we give up on who we are, they will have won. We presume people to be innocent. We don't lock people up because they're Japanese, not any longer. We don't lynch people because they're black, not any longer, because the Bill of Rights applies to everyone. But if you say, well, he's accused of terrorism, he shouldn't get a trial, or she shouldn't get a trial. We've had 386 people accused of terrorism in our country. Every one of them have been convicted. The man who killed 13 people in New York City the other day, if I'm on the jury, I vote to convict. But I want to hear the evidence first. I want to know they got the right person. I want to know someone saw him do it, that there is evidence. Not just because he has brown skin, we're going to lock him up and lock him up forever without a trial. We've convicted everybody tried in the United States. We didn't give up on who we are. And yet the law currently says, thanks to several individuals, says that you can be detained forever without a trial. Now, President Obama signed this law, but even President Obama knew that it was a terrible law. He said, this law and this power is so terrible that I will never use it. But that's not what the law is about. The law is about being so good that even when you get a rotten person in office someday, they don't have the power to do this. What happens if someday we elect someone who is a bigot, or someone who says gay people should be guilty, or someone who says brown people or non-Christians or Christians or homeschoolers, you name it? You can be a minority of the color of your skin or a minority of your ideology, but we should never let the government lock you up without a trial, without a lawyer. My amendment that I've been trying to get for 6 years simply restates the Constitution, restates the Bill of Rights. It says that no declaration of war will allow people apprehended in the United States to be held without a trial. We not only can't get this passed, we can't get a vote on it because certain individuals have such disregard for American tradition, disregard for the presumption of innocence, and disregard for the Bill of Rights, they object to even having a vote. So we've been trying for 6 years to have a vote on this. So, Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that it be in order to call my amendment, which would forbid indefinite detention of American citizens and others who are accused of a crime, Amendment 2795, to be amended to Amendment 2282.
Is there objection?
Reserving the right to object.
Senator from South Carolina.